Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars. For centuries, Earth had watched as the first rockets flew into space, followed by more advanced spacecraft, each a small step toward the ultimate goal, reaching the stars. But it wasn't until the creation of the Vanguard that humanity truly began to believe it could become a part of the galaxy's vast story. The Vanguard wasn't just another spaceship. It was the first Titan-class ship ever built. Massive and powerful, it was designed to carry humanity far beyond the limits of Earth's solar system. With a crew of experts and a mission to explore the deepest regions of space, the ship was a symbol of human determination and hope. Captain Adam Harris stood on the command deck, staring out at the expanse of space. He had seen many missions in his time, but this one felt different. The Vanguard wasn't just a ship. It was the future of humanity. It was built to last, built to explore, and built to ensure that Earth's legacy continued among the stars. "Captain, all systems are go," said Rachel, the communications officer. Her voice cut through the quiet hum of the control room, pulling Adam out of his thoughts. She sat at her station, her eyes focused on the data streaming across the screens in front of her. "Good. Let's get underway," Adam replied, his voice steady and full of purpose. The Vanguard was a marvel of engineering. Its engines were the latest in human technology, capable of faster-than-light travel. Its shields were designed to protect it from the dangers of deep space, and its weapons were advanced enough to defend against any threat that might arise. But it wasn't just the ship's technology that made it special, it was the crew. Each member was handpicked for their skills and experience, and they were all dedicated to one mission: exploration. Marcus, the ship's lead engineer, was in the engine room, ensuring everything was running smoothly. He had spent years working on the Vanguard, and to him, it felt like a child he had raised from the ground up. He was proud of the ship, but he also knew that the mission ahead would be difficult. Space was unknown, dangerous, and full of surprises. But that was why humanity had built this ship, to face those challenges and conquer them. Liam, the science officer, was also ready for the adventure. His job was to study everything the ship encountered, from distant planets to strange cosmic phenomena. He had always dreamed of discovering something no human had ever seen, and now, with the Vanguard at his side, he was about to get his chance. Adam walked toward the control center, where the rest of the crew was waiting. The mission was ready to begin, and everything was in place. The ship's departure from Earth had been scheduled for months, and now the time had come. As the engines roared to life, Adam couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. This was the beginning of something huge. "All systems are online, Captain. We're ready for launch." Marcus's voice crackled over the communication system. "Let's do it," Adam said firmly. The countdown began, and the crew braced themselves for the start of their journey. The Vanguard began to move, slowly at first, then faster and faster as it shot into the blackness of space. The Earth grew smaller behind them, and ahead of them lay the unknown. Rachel monitored the ship's progress, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. She could feel the tension building in the air, but she remained calm. She had been trained for moments like this, and she knew her role was crucial to the mission's success. "Everything's smooth," she said, glancing up at Adam with a small smile. Adam nodded, his gaze fixed on the view of space through the large windows of the command deck. He had dreamed of this moment for years, but now that it was happening, it felt surreal. The Vanguard wasn't just a ship, it was a part of humanity's destiny. The first few days of their journey were uneventful. The crew settled into their routines, adjusting to life in deep space. Adam spent most of his time in the command center, overseeing the ship's progress and making sure everything was running smoothly. Rachel continued to monitor communications, keeping the ship connected to Earth and the rest of humanity. Marcus and Liam worked in the ship's lower levels, fine-tuning the engines and preparing for any scientific discoveries. But even as they traveled farther from Earth, something weighed heavily on Adam's mind. The farther they went, the less they knew about the space they were entering. Humanity had never traveled this far from home, and the unknown stretched out before them like a vast ocean. The crew knew they had prepared as best they could, but there was always the nagging thought that something unexpected could happen. Still, Adam was determined. They had come this far. They were ready for whatever lay ahead. And so, the Vanguard continued its journey, the crew united by a single purpose: to explore the stars, to discover what lay beyond the reaches of Earth, and to ensure that humanity's story was written among the stars. The Vanguard glided silently through the emptiness of space, a giant among the stars. It was more than just a ship. It was humanity's pride, a symbol of everything Earth had worked for in its long quest to reach the stars. The crew had left Earth's orbit just a few days ago, and now they were on their way to a distant star system, hoping to find something no human had ever seen. Captain Adam Harris stood by the observation window, looking out into the vastness of space. The stars were bright and distant, like tiny diamonds scattered across a blanket of black. For a moment, he allowed himself to feel the weight of what they had accomplished. The Vanguard was the future of human exploration, and the crew aboard it were the ones who would lead the way. "Captain, everything's running smoothly," Rachel said from her station, her voice calm as always. She was monitoring the ship's communications and making sure all systems were operating within normal parameters. But Adam could see the excitement in her eyes whenever she looked out at the stars. "Good. Keep an eye on everything," Adam replied, his voice steady. The journey so far had been peaceful. There had been no signs of danger, no strange anomalies, just the steady hum of the engines and the routine of deep space travel. But as Adam gazed out at the stars, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was out there, something unknown. Liam, the ship's science officer, was busy in the observation lab, studying the data collected by the ship's sensors. He had already started to look for planets, asteroids, or anything of interest that could help them learn more about the region they were passing through. His job was vital for the success of the mission, and he knew it. "Anything interesting, Liam?" Adam asked, walking over to the lab. Liam glanced up from the screens filled with readings. "There's a lot to analyze, Captain. Some strange energy readings coming from a nearby system. It could be nothing, but it's worth looking into." Adam nodded. "We'll investigate. We came out here to explore, after all." The crew prepared to adjust their course, setting the Vanguard on a new trajectory toward the source of the strange energy readings. As they changed direction, the hum of the engine shifted, signaling the ship was heading into unknown territory. The mood in the command center shifted too, as the crew focused on their tasks. This wasn't routine anymore. They were venturing into a new part of the galaxy, where no human had ever been. Marcus, the ship's lead engineer, was monitoring the ship's systems from the engine room. He had always been a hands-on person, and the Vanguard was like a work of art to him. The complex machinery and advanced technology were his domain. It had taken years of hard work to bring the ship to life, and now it was finally out in the depths of space, ready for its mission. "Captain," Marcus's voice came over the intercom. "All systems are stable, but I'm noticing some minor fluctuations in the energy readings from the ship's engines. I'm checking them now, but it's nothing to be alarmed about." "Thanks, Marcus," Adam said before turning to Rachel. "Keep an eye on that, just in case." Rachel nodded, tapping away at her controls. "Understood, Captain." The Vanguard continued on its new course, the crew working together to ensure everything was operating smoothly. The days blurred together as they moved deeper into the unknown. Every time the ship adjusted its course, the crew was reminded that they were far from Earth, traveling into a part of space where no one knew what they would find. One afternoon, as the ship neared the location of the energy readings, something unusual happened. The sensors picked up a strange signal, an odd pattern of interference that didn't match any known frequencies. It wasn't a random burst of energy. It was deliberate, like someone, or something, was trying to communicate. Rachel immediately noticed the anomaly and called out to Adam. "Captain, We've detected an unusual signal. It's not from any known source. It's like a message, but I can't make out what it says." Adam's heart raced with excitement. This was it. They had been searching for signs of life beyond Earth, and now it seemed like they had found something. "Can you triangulate the source?" Adam asked. Rachel's fingers flew over the controls. "Yes, Captain. It's coming from a nearby system, not far from our current position. If we adjust our course slightly, we'll be within range to investigate." "Do it," Adam ordered. "Prepare the crew for a potential encounter." The crew of the Vanguard knew this was the moment they had all been waiting for, the first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth. They had no idea what to expect, but the excitement was undeniable. The ship's engines hummed louder as it changed course, heading toward the mysterious signal. Every member of the crew had a role to play. Rachel continued to monitor communications, Liam studied the data, and Marcus kept the ship's systems in check. Adam stood at the front, watching the stars ahead, wondering what awaited them in the darkness. As the ship approached the source of the signal, the tension on the bridge grew. What were they about to discover? Would they make contact with another civilization? Or was this signal a warning, a sign of something dangerous? Whatever it was, the crew of the Vanguard was ready. They had come this far. Now, they would face whatever came next. The Vanguard cut through space, moving steadily toward the source of the mysterious signal. The crew remained on edge, aware that they were about to make history. After years of preparation, the moment had arrived. Captain Adam Harris stood at the helm, his eyes focused on the vast, empty space ahead. The silence on the bridge was almost overwhelming, broken only by the soft hum of the engines and the occasional sound of a crew member's voice. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," Rachel said, her voice steady but carrying an undercurrent of excitement. She had been tracking the signal for hours, and now it was getting louder. It was unmistakable. There was something, or someone, out there. Adam nodded, his thoughts racing. What was this signal? Who or what had sent it? The questions swirled in his mind, but he couldn't let them distract him. The crew was depending on him to lead them through this unknown. "Prepare for communication. Let's see if we can make contact." Liam, the ship's science officer, leaned over his station, his face lit by the glow of multiple screens displaying the signal's readings. His fingers moved quickly over the controls as he tried to make sense of the data. "It's definitely an intelligent signal, Captain. But it's not in any known language. It's been encoded, or it's using a pattern we've never seen before." "That's good, right?" Adam asked, his voice calm but curious. Liam shrugged slightly. "It's good because it means someone is out there trying to communicate. But it also means we have no idea what they're saying. We'll need to figure out the pattern if we want to understand the message." Adam nodded. They were about to face their first contact with an alien intelligence, and it was both thrilling and terrifying. They had no idea what kind of species might be out there, or if they would be friendly. But one thing was clear: humanity was not alone in the universe. The crew worked together, trying to decode the message. Rachel continued to monitor the communication system, adjusting frequencies and running through different algorithms. Marcus, the lead engineer, checked the ship's systems, making sure everything was operating at peak performance. He wasn't a communications expert, but he understood the importance of every part of the Vanguard working in harmony. Then, just as the ship came within range of the signal source, the message changed. It wasn't just a series of beeps and clicks anymore. It formed a pattern, rhythmic, deliberate. The crew's eyes widened as the signal took on a new form. It was almost like music, but it carried an undeniable sense of purpose. Something was being communicated, something important. "Captain, I think it's trying to speak to us," Rachel said, her voice filled with wonder. "It's changing again, adapting to our communication attempts." "Keep trying, Rachel. We need to respond," Adam said, his heart pounding. This was the moment. The first communication with an alien species. The possibilities were endless. The ship's speakers crackled to life. A voice, or what sounded like a voice, echoed through the bridge. It wasn't a language they recognized, but the tone was clear, sharp, and unfamiliar, yet somehow calm. The words came in short bursts, like someone trying to make sense of the signals coming from the Vanguard. Liam's fingers moved quickly on the console, his eyes scanning the fluctuating data. It's like they're mimicking our attempts at communication, he said, sounding amazed. It's adapting to our signals, trying to find a common ground. Rachel's eyes widened as she adjusted the frequency again. I'm getting something. It's changing. It's almost like they're offering us a greeting, a gesture of peace. Adam took a deep breath. This was more than just a signal. It was a message. They were being invited to communicate. Slowly, carefully, he turned to the crew. Everyone, stay alert. We're entering unknown territory. This could be our first contact with an alien species. Let's keep our minds open and our intentions peaceful. The crew fell silent, each member reflecting on the gravity of the situation. They had come out here to explore, to discover the unknown. But now, the unknown had found them first. As the Vanguard drifted closer to the source of the signal, the alien voice grew louder, more defined. It seemed to be saying something, repeating the same short phrases in a rhythmic pattern. Though they couldn't understand the words, there was something about it, a quality to the sound, that made it clear this wasn't just a random noise. This was a message. Liam turned from his station, his face pale. It's not just a pattern. It's a complex language. I can't translate it fully, but we're receiving something more than just noise. There's structure here. It's as if they're trying to offer us a bridge. Rachel looked at Adam. It's like they're waiting for us to respond. Adam's heart raced. This was the beginning of something extraordinary. He knew that whatever happened next, humanity's place in the galaxy was about to change forever. For better or worse, they were about to step into a new chapter of history. Prepare to respond, Adam ordered. We'll send back a signal. A simple message, but it needs to show that we are here, and we are listening. The crew worked quickly, creating a response, a series of basic tones, meant to show their intent to communicate. As the signal was sent out, the crew watched the screens, waiting for the alien reply. Would this be the beginning of a peaceful relationship, or had they just crossed a line into something far more dangerous? Only time would tell. The Vanguard hovered quietly in space, its crew waiting in tense silence as the alien signal continued to pulse in the background. The bridge was dimly lit. The crew focused on their screens, waiting for the next response. Captain Adam Harris stood at the front, his hands clasped behind his back. The unknown stretched out before them, both thrilling and terrifying. This was the first alien encounter in human history, and they were about to find out if it would be a moment of discovery or something far darker. Captain, we're receiving a response. Rachel's voice broke the silence, her fingers flying across her station's console. The signal's more complex. It's coming in faster, and it's different than before. Adam straightened, his eyes narrowing as he turned toward her. Is it a message or something else? It's still structured, she replied, her voice steady but filled with awe. I'm decoding it now. It's like they're adapting to our signal, trying to have a conversation. Liam, the ship's science officer, quickly moved to Rachel's side, his face pale as he studied the data. This is more than just a greeting, he said, his voice full of wonder. It's almost like they're testing us, seeing how we respond to different patterns. They're adjusting with each signal we send. Adam felt a knot tighten in his stomach. The aliens were clearly trying to communicate, but what was their purpose? And more importantly, were they friendly? We need to proceed carefully, Adam said, glancing at the crew. This could go either way. They might be trying to understand us, or they might not have peaceful intentions at all. At that moment, the ship's communication system crackled to life. A new voice, alien yet strangely melodic, filled the bridge. It was a series of soft, rhythmic sounds, unlike anything the crew had ever heard. The message was unmistakable. There was no mistaking it now. This wasn't a random burst of energy or a simple signal. It was deliberate, structured. The alien species was speaking. Rachel quickly adjusted the frequency to capture the full message, her fingers moving at lightning speed. "Captain, I've isolated the full transmission. It's coming through clearer now. It's definitely trying to communicate in some way, but I still can't understand the meaning." Liam stepped forward, his mind racing through the data. "It's like a pattern of thought, not just language. They're trying to understand us as much as we're trying to understand them. But whatever it is, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered before." Adam paced slowly across the command deck. His mind was racing with possibilities. They had known this moment might come, but nothing could have prepared them for this. Aliens, real, intelligent beings, and they were trying to make contact. "We have to respond," Adam said firmly, though his voice betrayed the weight of the decision. "Rachel, prepare a reply. Simple, something that shows we understand that they're trying to communicate and that we want to open a dialogue." Rachel nodded and set to work. Her hands danced across the console, sending a carefully crafted response. A series of basic tones, each one carefully selected to show they were listening and attempting to understand. The tones were simple but meaningful. They weren't trying to start a conflict, just a conversation. As the Vanguard transmitted the signal, the crew waited. The seconds felt like hours. Everyone held their breath, watching the monitors, hoping for a reply. And then it came. The alien response was even more complex than before. It wasn't just a series of sounds. It was a burst of information, data so rich and intricate it almost felt alive. The message was not only a greeting anymore, it was an invitation. The aliens were offering something, but Adam couldn't yet understand what. "Captain, it's a pattern," Rachel said, looking up from her screen, her face filled with excitement. "They're sending something back. Coordinates. A location. A location," Adam repeated. His heart raced. "Where?" Rachel worked quickly to pinpoint the source of the new signal. The coordinates appeared on the screen, marking a distant system far outside their original path. The message was clear. "Come to us." "What do we do, Captain?" Rachel asked, turning to Adam. The crew was watching him now, waiting for his decision. This was it, the moment where they would either move forward into the unknown or pull back and keep searching the stars alone. Adam stood still, his mind working quickly. There was no turning back. Humanity had come this far. They had received their first contact. This wasn't the time to retreat. "We're going," Adam said with determination. "Plot a course. We're going to the location." Liam stepped forward, looking uncertain but excited. "But Captain, this could be dangerous. We don't know who they are or what they want. For all we know, this could be a trap." "I know," Adam replied, his voice firm. "But we can't ignore this. We've come this far. We can't turn back now. If we're going to find out what's out there, we need to be brave." The Vanguard slowly adjusted its course, heading toward the alien coordinates. The crew fell into a focused silence, each member understanding the gravity of the decision they had just made. There was no going back now. Whatever waited for them in the depths of space, they would face it together. As the ship moved closer to its new destination, the unknown stretched out before them, waiting to reveal its secrets. Would they encounter allies, or something far worse? The answers lay ahead, just beyond the stars. The Vanguard cruised through the silent void of space, its engines humming steadily as it followed the alien coordinates. The crew was tense, each member working quietly at their stations. The promise of a new discovery was exciting, but the unknown stretched before them, dark and full of mystery. Captain Adam Harris paced the bridge, his thoughts swirling. They were heading into unfamiliar territory, with no idea what awaited them. Rachel, The communications officer monitored the alien signal closely. It had grown quieter over the past few hours, like the aliens were waiting for them to make the next move. The crew had sent their last signal in response, but the aliens had not replied in a while. The silence was heavy, and it only added to the sense of unease that had begun to settle over the crew. "Captain," Rachel said, her voice calm but edged with tension, "we're approaching the coordinates. The signal has almost stopped, but the destination is dead ahead." Adam nodded, though his mind was elsewhere. The moment of first contact was drawing near, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. "Keep monitoring for any changes, Rachel. We can't afford to miss anything." Liam, the science officer, looked up from his station, his face thoughtful. "I've been analyzing the signal, Captain. It's strange. It almost seems like the aliens are guiding us, leading us to this place. But there's something odd about their patterns. It's like they're communicating in ways we can't fully understand yet." Adam sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I know, but we don't have much of a choice. We need to find out what they want." The ship's view screen flickered, and the first images of the destination appeared. It was a distant star system, nestled deep in a cluster of unknown planets. The central star was bright and powerful, casting a golden light over the surrounding planets. There was one planet that stood out among the rest, a world far larger than Earth. It seemed to pulse with energy, a deep otherworldly glow that could be seen even from this distance. "Captain," Marcus's voice echoed over the intercom. "I've been analyzing the planetary data. That planet, it's emitting strange radiation. It's not dangerous, but the readings are unlike anything we've encountered before. Something is going on down there." "Understood," Adam replied. "Prepare the landing team. We're going down." The Vanguard adjusted its course and descended toward the planet. The tension was palpable on the bridge as the ship moved closer to the unknown world. Outside, the planet grew larger, its surface covered in swirling clouds and strange energy storms that danced across the atmosphere. "This is it," Rachel said, her fingers tapping nervously at her controls. "We're entering the planet's atmosphere." Adam could feel the shift in the air as the ship began its descent. The crew was ready for this moment, but the uncertainty was still there. What would they find on the surface? What kind of beings had sent them this signal? And what did they want? The Vanguard shook slightly as it entered the planet's atmosphere, the sounds of turbulent winds rattling the hull. The view outside the window blurred as they broke through the clouds and got their first look at the surface. The landscape was unlike anything they had seen before. Bizarre, alien structures dotted the ground, glowing with an eerie, pulsating light. Massive spires rose from the earth, twisting and bending in strange, geometric patterns. "This place," Liam whispered. "It's like nothing in our records." Adam nodded. "We've never seen anything like it. Let's keep our focus. We need to find the source of the signal." As the Vanguard slowly landed, the crew began to prepare for the first human step onto an alien world. The airlock hissed open, and Adam led the way, stepping into the unknown. The surface was rocky, covered with strange formations that seemed to hum with energy. The sky above was tinged with an odd violet hue, and the ground seemed to shift beneath their feet, as if the planet itself was alive. "Stay sharp, everyone," Adam said, his voice steady. "We don't know what's down here, but we're here to learn." The landing party moved cautiously, their boots crunching against the alien soil. As they walked, the strange energy around them seemed to intensify. The landscape was quiet, almost too quiet. It felt like they were being watched. "This is unsettling," Rachel said, looking around. "It's almost like the planet is aware of us." Liam nodded. "The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever this planet is, it's not just a rock. There's something living here, something powerful." The team moved forward, following the strange energy that seemed to guide them. As they approached a set of tall, glowing structures, Adam felt the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. He couldn't explain why, but something about these structures seemed familiar, as if they were meant to be found. Then, as if on cue, a low hum filled the air, growing louder with every step. The ground beneath their feet trembled, and a light, a brilliant golden light, began to shine from one of the spires. Slowly, the light formed into a shape, something solid, yet shifting, like liquid light in the form of a humanoid figure. It was not like anything the crew had ever seen, but its presence was undeniable. The figure stood still, watching them, waiting. Adam took a deep breath. It's time. Let's see what they want. The alien being raised one arm, and the hum grew louder, vibrating through their bodies. The air crackled with energy, and for a moment, the world felt like it had stopped. Then the figure spoke, not in words, but in a series of images that flashed through the minds of everyone present. The crew stood frozen, each of them experiencing the message in their own way. This was no ordinary communication. The aliens were not speaking to them in language. They were showing them something far more profound. The golden light from the alien figure was overwhelming, filling the air with a strange ethereal glow. The crew of the Vanguard stood frozen, their eyes wide as they watched in awe. No one spoke, and for a moment, it felt like time had stopped. The images they were receiving were not just pictures or symbols, but emotions, feelings, and ideas that rushed into their minds like a powerful tide. Captain Adam Harris felt his heart race as the images formed in his mind. He saw vast cities made of shining metal, towering structures that seemed to pulse with the same energy that surrounded them now. Then the images shifted. He saw a peaceful world, lush forests, flowing rivers, and wide open plains, all teeming with strange creatures. It was beautiful, unlike anything he had ever imagined. But as quickly as the peaceful scene appeared, it changed. The peaceful world cracked, and dark shadows spread across the land, swallowing the light. He saw what looked like massive ships in the sky, their weapons firing down onto the surface. A battle. Destruction. Chaos. His mind recoiled from the images, but they kept coming, one after another. "Captain, are you seeing this?" Liam's voice broke through the silence, shaky with disbelief. Adam nodded, unable to tear his eyes away from the images. The alien figure did not speak with words, but its intentions were clear. The destruction was not just a memory, it was a warning. These aliens, whoever they were, had faced a terrible threat, and it seemed they were asking for help. Rachel stepped forward, her face pale. "They're showing us something terrible. It's as if they're telling us they've lost everything. Their home, their people, their way of life." Adam swallowed hard, struggling to process the flood of images in his mind. The figure's golden light flickered as the next image appeared. Human figures, standing strong in the middle of a vast, empty landscape. The message was clear. The aliens were showing them humanity, not as strangers, but as potential allies. They had seen something in humans that they had lost in their own kind. Strength, resilience, hope. A sudden jolt ran through the crew as the images shifted again. The alien figure seemed to change, its form becoming more solid, more defined. It raised one arm, and a beam of light shot out from its hand, piercing the sky. The beam spread out, forming a map of stars, galaxies, and constellations. One point on the map flickered brightly. It was Earth. The alien was showing them a path, leading from this strange planet back to their home, back to the stars. "It's a map," Liam said, his voice trembling. "They're offering us a way to reach them, to help them." Adam took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. This was not just a message. This was a call to action. The aliens were not asking for their sympathy. They were offering a chance for humanity to be a part of something much bigger. The images that had flooded their minds now showed the alien species in their full form, tall with glowing eyes and skin that shimmered like the stars. They were a peaceful people, But their world had been shattered by an enemy far more advanced and deadly than they had ever anticipated. Rachel's voice broke the silence, filled with awe and fear. They're asking us for help. But what if we can't help them? Adam turned to her, his expression serious. We can't turn away now. They've shown us their pain, their hope. They believe humanity is the key to their survival. We have to try. Liam stepped forward, his fingers running through the data on his console. I think I understand the map. They want us to go to a system. It's far away, but there are coordinates in the data. It's where the enemy is, where they're being hunted. Adam's heart pounded. So, this is it. We either help them, or we leave them to their fate. But we're not just explorers anymore, are we? We're part of something bigger now. Rachel nodded slowly. We've always known that we'd face challenges out here. But this is different. This is a war that's been going on long before we ever set foot in space. Adam turned to face the alien figure once more. Its golden light flickered, and for a moment, he felt a deep sense of connection. The alien didn't speak, but the message was clear. We need you. We are not alone. The crew stood in silence as the alien figure lowered its arm, the golden light slowly dimming. The images stopped, leaving only a quiet hum in the air. The figure's form began to dissolve, fading into the light from which it came. But before it disappeared entirely, it sent one final image into their minds, a single word: hope. The Vanguard crew stood motionless for a long time, absorbing the weight of what they had just learned. This wasn't just an encounter with another species. It was a call to arms, a chance to stand up for something greater than themselves. We have our mission, Adam said finally, his voice firm, though there was a hint of uncertainty. We're not just here to explore, we're here to fight. The crew nodded, their faces set with determination. Whatever this war was, they were no longer just bystanders. They were now part of a greater struggle, one that would take them to the farthest corners of space. The Vanguard turned its engines, setting its course for the alien system. Humanity's greatest challenge had begun. The Vanguard moved swiftly through the cold, dark expanse of space. The crew was focused, their minds set on the mission ahead. They had received the aliens' message, and now they had a duty to fulfill. The journey would take them across star systems and through unknown territories, but they had a singular goal: to help the alien species they had just encountered, and to stop the enemy that threatened their world. Captain Adam Harris stood at the front of the bridge, his gaze fixed on the view ahead. The stars passed by in streaks of light, a silent reminder of how far they had come. The tension on board was palpable. The crew had already faced the unknown, but now they were preparing for a battle they were not sure they would win. Captain, Rachel said, her voice steady but tense, we've received the updated coordinates. We're nearing the enemy's location. We'll be there in a few hours. Adam nodded, his jaw clenched. Get the crew ready. This is no longer an exploration mission. It's a fight for survival. We need to be prepared for anything. Liam, the science officer, spoke up. I've been scanning the area. The enemy's ships are massive. Their technology is far beyond ours. We'll be outmatched, but we have one advantage. We know they're looking for us. They don't know we're coming, but they will soon. The thought of facing such powerful enemies made Adam's stomach tighten. He had never imagined that humanity's first contact with aliens would lead to war. But the alien species they had met had been clear. Their planet was under threat, and they needed help to survive. Humanity had the strength, the resilience, and the will to fight. Adam had no choice but to lead his crew into this unknown war. We're ready, Captain, said Marcus, the ship's engineer, his hands moving quickly over the controls. The Vanguard is fully operational. We've made the necessary adjustments to the weapons and shields. If we're going to face these enemies, we need to make sure we're ready. Adam turned to face him. Good. Keep everything at full capacity. We don't know how this is going to go, but we need to make sure we have every advantage. As the Vanguard approached the enemy's location, the crew's nerves were on edge. The view outside the ship changed as they entered a system of dense asteroids and broken moons. In the distance, they saw them, massive ships, their dark forms looming against the stars. They were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The technology was sleek, sharp, and menacing. Their weapons glowed with a cold, unnatural light, and their size was overwhelming. Adam's voice cut through the tension. "We have to strike first. We can't let them get the jump on us." Liam nodded grimly. "The alien ships are spread out, but they're concentrated around a central station. It looks like their base of operations." "Then that's where we go," Adam said. "Rachel, prepare to send a warning. We'll give them a chance to surrender, but I doubt they'll listen." The Vanguard's weapons powered up, and the crew braced for what was about to come. The enemy ships began to notice their presence, and the first shots were fired across the void. The cold silence of space was shattered by the sound of explosions as the Vanguard's shields flared, absorbing the impact. The ship shook violently, but it held together. "We're hit," Marcus shouted from the engineering station. "The shields are holding, but we need to return fire. Now." Adam's hands gripped the command console. "Fire everything we have. Target their lead ship." The Vanguard's weapons came alive. Laser beams and plasma bolts shot through the void, striking the enemy ships. The battle raged in silence, with flashes of light lighting up the darkness of space. The enemy ships retaliated with ferocity, their weapons powerful and precise. The Vanguard's shields flickered as more shots hit, but the ship's agility kept it moving, dodging and weaving through the asteroid field. Liam's voice rang out over the chaos. "We've got incoming fighters, small, fast ships. They're trying to surround us. Prepare the point defense cannons," Adam ordered. "We need to clear a path to their station. We can't fight them all at once." The Vanguard's point defense weapons opened fire, sending a barrage of energy blasts toward the smaller enemy ships. They exploded in fiery flashes, but more kept coming. The crew worked in unison, coordinating the ship's movements and attacks, pushing forward against the overwhelming enemy forces. The larger enemy ships, realizing the Vanguard wasn't backing down, intensified their attacks. The Vanguard took another hit, and this time, the shaking was more violent. Sparks flew from the control panels as alarms blared. "We've lost a secondary engine," Marcus shouted. "We're going to drift if we don't make repairs soon." "Keep it together," Adam shouted. "Rachel, can you get a signal to the alien ships we met? We need reinforcements now." Rachel worked quickly, sending a distress signal. "Message sent, Captain. They should be able to help, but it'll take time." "We don't have time," Adam muttered, his fists clenched. The enemy's fire was relentless, and the Vanguard was taking heavy damage. But Adam wouldn't give up. He couldn't. Then in the distance, a streak of light appeared. The alien ships they had met earlier, the ones who had shown them the path to this battle, were arriving. They moved quickly, their ships swarming into the fray, their weapons lighting up the sky. The tide of battle shifted. The Vanguard's crew fought with renewed strength, knowing that they weren't alone. Together, humanity and their new alien allies were fighting side by side against the overwhelming enemy forces. Adam stood tall, his gaze fixed on the battlefield ahead. The fight was far from over, but they had a chance. Humanity had taken its first steps into the galaxy, and now it was fighting for its place in the stars.